entertaining podcasts I listen to. I don't listen to many. That one, Francine, is a different point of view. It's a female point of view, but someone who's been through the hardcore wars.
Yes.
So what Francine has to say to me matters and is important. And there are two guys up in New York, Monte and the Pharaoh.
Mm-hmm.
I find them hugely entertaining. I find them fun to listen to. But those three are the only three podcasts really other than, the PW Insider stuff that I have.
We're visiting Pharaoh's here after last night's Super ECW tribute show.
Deluxe.
Pharaoh's looking good though as he gets older. He can handle his liquor a little better, right? But we'll be floating around. Hopefully, get to see a few people. We'll be posting these videos. So we'll talk to you soon.
I don't care if they talk shit. I don't talk to hypocrites. If you hate me, that's just fine. Go on down and get in line. They try to tell me what I need, and it sure ain't nothing good for me. Don't care what they say, it's all just talk. Gonna head my way and walk my walk. They try to bend me, but I won't break. I pay no mind to the noise they make. I keep my head, I hold my ground. Ain't no man gonna knock me down. They can swing, but I won't flinch. I was built for times like this. So talk your shit, but be aware. I don't care.
All right, welcome back to, whoops, I got the wrong guy on here. Welcome back to the Howard Stern of Pro Wrestling, Monte and the Pharaoh. This has been a messy night, but my special guest, Mr. Jim Terry from JimTerryTV.com. Jim and I have been longtime associates and friends for quite a bit since years ago when you first appeared on our channel with your many appearances on Darkside Jim. So thank you for joining us for this special edition of Monte and the Pharaoh. How are you, Jim?
Listen, I've done all the big shows. I've been on all the relatives of wrestlers, all the wrestling podcasts, the Wrestling with the Devil molested me, Pat Patterson touched my wiener. But I feel like I am at the big time when I am here, and I appreciate you bringing me on tonight. But see, most of your guests come here empty-handed. Not only did I bring some of my crowd, which are in the chat, chanting my name right now, the name of a 25-year indoor and arena football league veteran, 3 seasons of Dark Side of the Ring, the private investigator for Dark Side of the Ring, the kayfabe detective. I worked on the Dark Side of the Ring with Jake the Snake Roberts, of course, with our buddy Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne, and most recently, Billy Jack Haynes. Those are the 3 episodes I am credited in, but my best appearances have always been here. But tonight, I have brought a little bit of a gift. Now, you probably don't know what this is. Let me show you what this is. I purchased this on Amazon in anticipation of my show. This is a spirit box reader. Now, what this does is it will contact the dead through radio waves. I'm not one of those ghost guys, but I have been messing around with this. Tonight here on Monte and the Pharaoh, I will attempt to reach Lee Cole's brother and find out who did the diddling. Thank you.
That is incredible news, Jim. I mean, look, finally in this whole drama of the story of Lee Cole, which we'll discuss Lee Cole from our origins together, we will finally find out what has happened to his brother. Who was he molested? Was he not? Is he full of shit? Is he on there right now?
He's not come through yet. We will try to reach Lee Cole's brother. I have invited Lee Cole up on the program. And listen, I'm not at war with Lee Cole. I am not a wrestling channel guy, even though I've done some stuff with wrestling. I leave that to the professionals like you, but I have made a little bit of a dent in the business. And, of course, on JimTerryTV.com, we have a show there, and it is a OTT streaming platform. Much like you guys are on cable, we are on cable on Amazon and on Roku. But there is a lot of prank calls to wrestlers, professional wrestlers, hardcore pranks. We'll show those a little bit later. But thank you for having me on here tonight. It's obviously an upgrade. This is not like when the Dukes of Hazzard were gone off the program and they brought in Coy and Vance. This is where it should be. Notice I am not wearing any extensions. And by the way, much like Big John Studd carried around Andre's hair in a bag, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you what I have here. I have the hair, the extensions of the Pharaoh. Thank you very much.
Oh, how did I know something like that was coming? You'll never be avoided. And later on, people, we will bringing on ESO Creative, who has the stats from both Lee Cole's channel and what's the other clown's name from the mob channel? Guy's
James
name?
Proctor.
James Proctor.
If you haven't seen James Proctor, I don't know James Proctor. I shared a panel with him one time over on Angel Gotti's. I was a co-host over there for 13 months. Brought the channels to new heights. There he is. He seems like a nice enough guy. Listen, I don't know what his problem is, but I did hear from some people on the inside that he was supposed to be born retarded, but at the last minute, God changed his mind.
Listen, hard to argue, but let's just talk about Lee Cole for a second. Lee came onto our show back when we were in studio, and before the Ring Boy scandal, it was all over with for many, many, many years. And when his brother, Tom Cole, who took his life, Lee Cole came out of the woodwork, and we brought him on, and we allowed him to tell his story. Whether we believed it or not doesn't matter, right? This is a man's story. We understood his pain. We got it. And, eventually Lee ventures out and he decides to get into the podcasting world. Had no problem with that. But the problem I did have, Jim, is once Lee could not come up with his own ideas and he started pulling former guests like yourself to bring onto his show, that was pretty troublesome. And, I've mentioned to you, and as many people have known, I consider you a very talented man and very funny. And my biggest problem with Lee Cole is I think he's just full of shit all the time, and he just can't stop lying.
Well, I do have a history with Lee to a degree. Now, him and I have never been at war. We've never had to cross paths. But listen, I can call BS when I see it. He has told me a lot of different things, which I will share here tonight. I'll answer any and all questions. But I can tell you that Lee seemed to me, and I'm very serious when I say this, like somebody with a Virginia ham under his right arm complaining he doesn't have any bread. Let me explain why. Lee Cole, as many of you know, has a brother that's passed away that supposedly, allegedly, was diddled by some professional wrestlers. Now, I have a very close friend of mine that I went to high school and played college football with that was sexually molested by his math teacher, a Mr. Sampson, back in 7th grade. I would much have rather been molested by a WWE star or talent relations than my math teacher. So I think Lee really is being a little bit selfish here. I have a brother. I wish he was molested by, let's say, Tito Santana or Superfly Jimmy Snuka. But I'm here for the facts. I know what I know, and I'm willing to talk about it, which includes he has a little bit of a partner over there. Now, Lee Cole at one time did want me to come on and do a live. But we're on his show live a couple of times. He wanted me to head up his live division, but he's got a guy over there that he wanted to be in charge who brought nothing to the channel. They don't know wrestling like you guys do. They don't know the history. They knew a certain slot of WWE. They didn't know WCCW, ECW. They didn't know any of the other federations or territories that were out there. And you could tell that they just wanted our prank calls and our content and our energy to build his live division. When I saw that we went over there a few times and he had no live viewers, close to 100,000 subscribers, but the only people that were there were my people in the chat, 130, 230 people that I recognized, I knew there was something a little bit off, and I knew that he was buying subscribers. There's no reason 1% of his live audience on 100,000 should be shown. It's flash over substance. He wanted the plaque. It was his goal, and I think it ended up being the noose around his neck and cut his channel and subsequently James Proctor's channel off.
Well said again, but I think we'll let the stats speak to themselves when ESO comes on. You can look at the stats, and I want you to commentate on it. I think the facts will show itself. But let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about his brother, Tom Cole, right? So we all understand that there was some sort of scandal going on. We've had multiple people come on Monte and the Pharaoh, whether they be pro Tom Cole or pro Mel Phillips, whatever the case. We had the last Ring Boy on. Here's my question to you, and I want to speak seriously with you on this, Mr. Terry. The story that is told is Tom worked for the WWE as a ring boy, was 18 years old, went to a van with Terry Garvin. Terry Garvin hit on him. Tom didn't like it. He left, and then subsequently was fired or released for whatever reason, right? There's many stories behind that. Some of the ring boys will say that he was just a piece of shit and he didn't do shit. Other people say he was terminated because he wouldn't be with Terry Garvin. Is there any meat to this bone, or is Lee Cole trying to finish off the remainder of his life to become relevant off his brother's passing? And let me reiterate this one too. Tom Cole did have brain cancer. And, when you have stage 4 brain cancer, I'm assuming at some point you're not thinking properly. And I could imagine you taking your life. But again, I'd like to hear what your true thoughts are. Joking aside, I know you like to joke.
Based on what I know, and based on my communication with Lee Cole and my producer over on Jim Terry TV, Mr. X, who does follow a lot of this stuff and was up on the Ring Boy scandal. The Ring Boy scandal was brought to me on Dark Side of the Ring. They were looking to do something with it. I've never investigated it as a PI, but based on what I've put together, there's several different questions that you've asked in that one question. Do I believe that Lee Cole's brother had some sort of a physical situation, a molestation, if you will, with talent or people that were involved in Titan Sports, WWF at the time? Yes, I do believe that happened. The question is, at what age, and was it consensual? That's where this gets to be a little fuzzy. And the person that could tell you the most about it is not here anymore. And the people that would be most affected are not necessarily Lee Cole. I mean, with all due respect to Lee Cole, that's his brother. But Lee Cole's brother, I believe, has children and had a wife. Now, I've heard rumors that they were separated or she was getting rid of him, and that might have with the brain cancer. I don't know the whole ins and outs of that story. That's why I like to pin Lee Cole down to something like this. Do I believe Lee Cole's brother was molested? 100%. And the reason I believe that is because there was other people in and around that area that have the exact same story as him, that may not even have crossed paths with him. Not only ring boys but talent. I mean, Barrio. I mean, there is a lot of them. There is a lot of them with the same types of stories. Now, where I've always crossed with Lee Cole and fought with Lee Cole is I said,
well, could I just stop you there, James? 1 second.
Sure.
How does an 18-year-old man get molested? Explain that to me, please.
I was under the impression, and you set me straight on this, Monte, that when he first started working for WWE, the molestation started way before the age of 18. It carried, and he continued to do it after the age of 18. What my question has always been in this, and I had heard that his brother had started being a ring boy at like the age of 13. And then he ultimately ended up having consensual sex with some of these people later on. Is that not the true story? I don't believe he started being a ring boy at 18, because I always told Lee Cole, the persons that should be blamed here, I don't know what parent would let their kid join the circus at 13 in the 80s, let alone let him join WWE. And I don't care what it is, Disney World. I mean, they only let kids work certain amounts of hours. So especially back then, the parental situation in Lee Cole's house wasn't good. That's where the blame should start. But then again, they're not billionaires. So my question to you, I guess, is I was always under the assumption that the molestation with his brother started way before he was a legal adult.
The story, I understand it, James. Number one, great point about the parents. The last ring boy we had on, Gerard, he also was from a home that allowed him to travel at a very young age too. Again, not knocking those parents, but you certainly are putting your young child in some sort of predicament that they may not be able to get out of. Again, I don't know all the facts. I only know from doing the show. I did have Lee Cole's sister on, who was estranged from.
Was that the karate lady? She's like a judo teacher or something.
Yes.
How did that go? Is she younger or older?
She is younger. Very intelligent lady. She explained it was a broken home, but the one thing we have to remember is she was estranged from Lee, as was Tom Cole at the time of his death, right? Which we can't forget. Right. We also can't forget, if Lee Cole tells a story. Well, let's go back to the molestation thing. From the story I understand, when his first accusation against Terry Garvin was at 18 years old, and it wasn't molestation, it was an attempted homosexual man looking to have sex with another man. Now, again, someone could argue that point. I'm not defending Terry Garvin in one iota, but I will share this with you, and I'll ask you this question again. Gerard, the last ring boy, talks about Mel Phillips. Mel Phillips's life ended when this all came down, right? They got rid of him. He lost his dream job.
Yeah.
What if Mel Phillips wasn't guilty? Or do you believe this guy was just totally guilty also?
Well, I mean, when people start when there's accountability and people start losing their jobs, there has to be some shred of evidence. Because let me tell you something, and I'll wrap it around with a modern day story. Right now, there is a missing 85-year-old woman in Arizona, Savannah Guthrie's mom. The brother-in-law is being blamed on a lot of social media platforms and in the media as to having something to do with this. I would have called a press conference a month ago and said, hey, no way. I don't know if Mel Phillips or some of the people around him didn't feel that that was a good idea. But I think just like Bill Cosby or some of these other people, there's too many people with the same story. But then again, you don't know. Now, if Lee Cole's brother was of age and he was 18, then, it is what it is. I don't even see how this is even a story anymore, other than it would be a little bit shocking in the mid to late 80s that wrestlers were gay to some degree, where it wouldn't be as much now. So I guess that what you got to hammer down, and what I would do, and I would look at this if it was the dark side of the ring. The first thing I would do is I would interview the family members around the brother that don't have a podcast, that don't give a shit about wrestling, that aren't trying to make a buck or get a plaque. Those are the people I'd want to speak to, the people in and around Lee Cole's brother's life that are not Lee Cole. From there, I would backtrack it and try to find out anything I could about Lee Cole's brother. So do I believe Lee Cole's brother had some sort of a sexual relationship with people involved in that? 100%. Consensual or not, something went on. Do I believe that was the sole reason he killed himself? Stage 4 brain cancer would probably be a front runner in the reasons why, if I had to guess.
Well said. So his brother passes away. Lee Cole comes out.
Pass away? What year was that, Monte?
Shit, it's got to be 5 years. I was still in studio. So if anyone doesn't watch a show and they're James Terry fans, we were in a television studio and my partner moved to Florida. Long story short, we were doing this over the internet and we're trying to just get back in studio. But the show's doing well. But anyway, again, the whole point.
2021 he died. 2020.
So Lee Cole came on pretty soon after that. And again, who am I? I never lost a brother, so I can't tell whether someone's telling the truth or they really feel that. Again, I truly liked Lee Cole in the beginning. I thought he was a hurt man who lost his family. But as you dig it out and you start to understand things, explain this to me. He then starts a podcast, and it's pretty much around the darkest sides of wrestling, and his target was Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Well, hold on, Monte. From my understanding of him, he did not start a wrestling podcast. He was in the mob genre. He was going after Sammy Gravano and doing mob stuff, and then segued into the wrestling. So his first crack at social media and platforms and streaming was not wrestling. It was mob stuff, right?
Yeah, you are correct. I forgot about that. And what happened? Do you know what happened with his mob channel?
Nobody gave a shit. He came off as a mobster. He wanted to seem like a low-level guy. If you watch some of the old shows that are out there, he acts like he was connected. He, was sleeping here. He was hustling here. He was doing this stuff there. I don't know, because I was never a mob guy. I liked Angel Gotti as a person. She was going through some of the same shit we went through on, which you're kind of going through now. People striking channels and doing different things to her. So I reached out to her. Lee Cole was part of that world. When I found out Lee Cole's brother was who he was, and it wasn't until about the third or fourth episode of Angels I was on, I had never heard of Lee Cole, knew very little about his brother. But the first thing Lee Cole led into with me is, you know who my brother is? And I said, no, who's your brother? And when he told me, when you lead with that, you know what I mean? It's like a guy that says, I got a Maserati. I got a Maserati. And so I've looked at things in Lee Cole's life, and when I talk to Lee, I know when he's lying. He gets very defensive. It's none of your business. It's my business. You're jealous of me. I'm that guy. I mean, there's a lot of things with Lee Cole that don't add up that I found out lately. First of all, Lee Cole is in a senior Section 8 living facility. I'm not going to give the name of the place, but and I was told that this was Lee. I don't know. That this picture has been floating around for weeks. He's in a 50. He's in a retirement community. Lee Cole is not, 35 years of age. I don't believe Lee Cole's channel made money, and I don't think he has a lot of money. So when you lead with that, it kind of brings you down a path. Okay, that's what his hook is to get you in. This genre, to me, wrestling, is very, very difficult. Just like the mob genre. I've seen shows with, let me give you an example real quick, Monte, and I don't mean to filibuster here, but we got an hour.
That's fine. You go ahead.
I have seen your show. And what I have always told Lee is you have 100,000 subscribers, Lee, but Monte and the Pharaoh, actually, I could go there and see a Von Erich. I could see a Jannetty. I could see a world champion, a tag team world champion, people in the industry that run these Comic-Cons and different things. Lee, I've never even seen a wrestler on your fucking channel. Lee, I've never seen a live wrestler. I've never seen the Missing Link 5 years ago or any of these people on, nobody. You don't tackle anything. You don't have any of these people on your show. How do you have 100,000? So it's a very tough niche. And I used to watch, I was interested in the Rob Van Dam podcast. I turn on his channel sometimes. He's got 6 to 8 people watching him live. And there is a former WWE champion that can't get an audience. I've seen Eric Bishop with less than 30 live. So this is a very difficult space that you need a lot of different stuff for. And there's very few successful people. I don't look at you guys as a YouTuber or a podcast because you were on cable, right? Out in New York?
Yeah, that's correct.
It's a television show that happens to restream. But this is one of the few shows that actually grips me and holds my interest because this show is for professional wrestling. There are other podcasts out there that are for WWE fans. There are UFC fans, and then there are mixed. I like mixed martial arts. I will watch the smaller shows, King of the Cage, some of these other shows back in the day. There's people that think that UFC is the sport, that WWE is the sport. And it's not. It's one avenue of the sport. I love the XFL. I was even in camp down there with those guys in 2001. So I can tell you that there is that aspect of it. Lee Cole looked like he thought his brother's death was an angle. He could jump on it. And I don't think he realized how many people were like, hey, like Mr. X is my producer. Vince McMahon is the Walt Disney of our generation. He has made movies. He has put together professional sporting events. He's the P.T. Barnum of the generation. So when you've made people millionaires and billionaires and the president of the United States was in your Hall of Fame, there's a lot of people that are going to be offended by you trying to tear down one of the biggest, most creative people in the history of entertainment. Lee Cole chose that niche, and he wasn't good enough or believable enough to carry it without cheating. He used steroids for his YouTube.
Let me just ask you this question. I want you to understand something.
Sure.
When Lee came out with his channel, I was fine with him, right? He was fine. What happened was we had a lot of people wanting to come on the show, and some had to do with the Ring Boy scandal. And respectfully, I told Lee I was going to bring on someone that was pro Mel Phillips.
Sure.
I could still have the email. He cursed me out. I'm a piece of shit. And I said to Lee, if you're going to do this type of work, right? Again, I don't want to get overblown on what we do here. But if you want to consider yourself some sort of journalist, then you have to hear both sides of the story. So that's where the problem started, is he wouldn't listen to both sides of the story. He had an agenda. And then, as you said, as his channel started to grow, Jim, I didn't understand it. I'm like, how could this guy be picking up all these views, all these subscribers? And honestly, the show was shit. It was shit. He tried many different co-anchors, co-hosts. It was awful, and it was the same nonsense. And I knew at some point that this guy's stuff's not real. And, we're going to prove it today, too. Because, again, he claims he shut his channel down because of whatever nonsense reason, but now he's restarting a channel because he's reinvigorated. First of all, I believe Lee Cole was monetized. Listen, there's a thing for everybody out there. You could just look. Social Blade will tell you how much someone makes. It gives you a pretty vast range. But if you're in the middle, if you just go in the middle, you could figure out what someone makes. So I think Lee Cole made about $400 on his channel every month. And this is my belief. Who's his partner's name? What's his partner's name?
Is it Renee, the bald guy?
The bald guy. I believe he promised to pay Renee, and Renee never got paid. And that's why you never saw Renee again. Right? Remember, he brought that girl on, and then he did his. The point of the matter, I got to say to Jim, is that Lee Cole lost his channel, and he lost James Proctor's channel. And we're going to show the stats. I don't know if James Proctor knew, but they were buying subs. He bought enough subs to get a plaque. I used to tell him, YouTube's going to find out. And by the way, everybody watching tonight, Lee Cole will attempt to put his third strike on our channel, and it keeps failing. He just keeps putting in fraudulent strike attempts on us, and he'll do it here that we're publicly humiliating him, but he thinks but he can humiliate Vincent Kennedy McMahon. He's a public figure. Lee Cole, you're a public figure too. So anyway, Jim, thoughts on that whole situation?
Let me tell you this. Hold on. Keep that thought. About a week ago, Lee Cole cold called me, which never happens. It was an 806 area code. I picked it up, and it was Lee, and here's what he said. Jim, I got the subpoena. And I says, what are you talking about, Lee? He goes, I got the subpoena. I had to take my channel down. He was already fishing. He was already laying the seeds because he knows I was going to be like, Lee. He thought his channel had been gone like 24 to 48 hours. Nobody knew about it. If your channel went down, I'd have 5 people the next hour calling me.
Right.
Nobody knew his channel went down. So he called me to lay that seed because he knew I was going to find out about it. And I said, Lee, what subpoena? I said, Lee, you live in an old folks home. How did they serve you? This is a story I'm interested in. Come on our show. Tell us how WWE served you. I want to see the envelope that they served you in because he's got some court case. And he goes, oh, I'm not going to do that. He goes, they served my attorney. I says, who's your attorney? All of a sudden, his demeanor changed because he knew I wasn't buying it.
Right.
And I said, Lee, who's your attorney? I'm not telling you that. I just want you to know that my channel, I had to take it down. I knew it was bullshit, and Proctor at exactly the same time was taken down. This is the wrestling equivalent of 9/11, where 2 planes knocked down 3 buildings. It made no sense.
Well,
I have
Jim, let's. This is a perfect opportunity. We have Bruce from ESO on.
How you doing, Bruce?
Bruce, show Jim and the audience the stats of both Lee Cole's channel. Let's explain it because James Terry rolled right into it. Show the stats and explain it to everybody out there, please.
All right, guys. Well, hey, what's going on? Well, there's some numbers you got to pay attention to. First, you got to pay attention to up here. You have the number of subscribers. If you look, 104,000 subscribers on Lee's channel, 8,222,000 views. So let's dig into this a little bit. So Lee really started pushing this channel in around January of 2024. So a little about 2 years ago. And if you notice, these charts are on above. Oh, first of all, these charts are available on Social Blade. Anybody can go and look them up. Lee, I know you're going to say that I photoshopped them. They're not real, whatever. But these are real. They're readily available. I'll put up the link, Monte. I'll give it to you at the end so you can put it in the description. So there's no denying it. But here, check this out. So January, about 3,000 subscribers. Now let's fast forward. Then we get to October, 1,200 subscribers. So, this is September of 2024. Next month, 6,600 subscribers. 7,300 subscribers. 5,000. Peaks at in February of 2025 at 12,400 subscribers. Now let's just keep going. We've got all these subscribers, blah, blah, blah.
Now, Bruce, is this by day? Is this by week? Is this by month?
This is by month. So all of a sudden, we hit 104,000 subscribers in July of 2025 with 11,100 subscribers in July. You know what happened in August? We had absolutely not one subscriber.
He stopped paying.
That's a good point. So let me ask you this, Bruce. Lee Cole will say, I pay YouTube or Google to help me push my show. Right?
Well, that makes absolutely zero sense, because if we start to look at that point, we have zero subscribers. But if we look at the views, that doesn't really make much sense. We're getting a couple 100,000 views a month. But after we have these subscribers, the next 2 months later, all of a sudden we start peaking in views. In September, we have 878,000 views. We've never seen that amount of numbers from Lee ever.
So you're trying to tell me that he changed his focus from buying subscribers because he got his plaque.
Absolutely.
Now he's pushing it towards views on his channel.
Buying views. He went from buying, and it's, if you look at these charts right in front of you, you can see where he stopped buying subscribers and then started buying views. Well, we can't say that because according to him, he never did that. And you know, these charts, you know, they may lie and manipulate, but you know,
here's the interesting thing I would like you to show, Bruce, to James and the audience out there.
I got a better
Can we go
one,
to James? Go ahead, Bruce. Go ahead.
I got a better one to show you on this because I figured this out the day. So let's go back to looking at his total views ever. Well, let's look at so we have a little over 8 million views ever. Okay. The last few months, he's been doing nothing. We know that. If we look at all the days before before his channel was deleted, he has absolutely 0 subscribers in this whole column here. But there's 2 days I want you to look at. All these other days, there's nothing, 40,000, where everything in the early months is in the low 10,000s to low thousands, whatever. But we get up to Saturday, 2/14, 3 days before he was banned. Let's take a look at the numbers that follow that. On the 15th, check this out. Let's turn this.
God, this is like the DNA and the OJ case. He's dead to rights. I mean, it's much.
Listen, no, because
James, it gets worse because we're going to go to Proctor's channel, which almost mirrors Lee's channel. But go ahead.
Check this out. I found this, Mike. So we have on 2/14, 40,000. On 2/15, we jumped up to 361,000 views.
Wow.
On the 16th,
in one day, in one single day.
In one day. The following day, another 300,000, almost 236,000 views. Then the following day, this is when he shut his channel down. He's having the best 3 days ever. So he's getting 81,000 views, and his channel disappears. So we're talking about, let's see, 597,691 views in 2 days. Now, if we go back up to his original numbers, he has only had 8 million. So you're going to tell me almost 8 to 9% of his views were in the 2 days before his channel was shut down? The 2 most profitable days he ever had, and then he chose to shut down his channel. Wow, that makes so much sense.
Well, not only that, let me tell you this, and Bruce and Monte, I think it is phenomenal that your dad decided to join us on panel here. He is but let me also state this. I had a YouTube channel for 11 months. It was in magazines, Rolling Stone, different things. The most I ever got up to was about right under 8,000 subs. I never bought anything. I had shows where there was 2,700. A bad night would be 700 live viewers. It wasn't a wrestling channel. And I can tell you that I thought that was pretty darn good. Playing arena football, I've played in buildings. I played in the Target Center a couple of years ago with the Philadelphia Soul, and it was a 25,000 seat arena. There was a couple of thousand in there. I would rather play in a 3,000 seat arena with 2,800 people than 4,000 people in a 25,000 seat arena because there's nobody there. What was happening and what I saw on mine is there was only 2 things that mattered: how many hours you put into it and the money you made. Based on my BS little YouTube channel, I was averaging between $7,000 and $10,000 a month, not counting Cash Apps and PayPals. Now, those were super stickers and super chats and a plus channel. Lee Cole, if he had 100,000 and they were even legit, would have made far more money than that.
So let me explain, people out there, because this is really pretty simple. All right, if this channel here, which averages, on a really good month, might get 200 to 300,000 views on the YouTube channel. Our Facebook channel on a good month gets about 2 million. Our TikTok runs about 50 to 60,000. But here's the point. If what Jim is saying is correct, if you get 100,000 views, you pretty much just have to take 100,000 divided by 5, right? So for every 10,000 for every 1,000 views you get, you get about $5. It matters on retention, but we're just playing on average.
Not doing live shows, you mean, just by view.
Whatever, regardless, it doesn't matter. See, here's the other thing. People get very involved in how many people are watching live. Just because you have 300 people watching you live, that still may only turn out to be 1,000 people watching the video in the end, right? Live doesn't generate you a shitload of money. It does, you know what live does? What you said, super chats,
right?
Membership.
Yep.
That's where you make your money on live. So when people get all caught up on, no one's watching them, it doesn't fucking matter. It's basically this. All you have to do is go to someone's channel, take how many views they have, figure their retention time is going to be $5 per thousand views. It could be more, it could be less, and that's how much money they're making. And the reality of it is, the problem for people that are out there is their vanity. They think having views, fake views, robo views, robo subscribers, it equals zero money. In fact, it hurts your channel because for those robo views, it's a 3-second click. So your retention channel knocks you out of the algorithm. So anyone that does that, it makes literally no sense. Am I making sense here?
Yeah, and Bruce and Monte, let me also state this. I've had conversations with Lee, and I said, Lee, if you're going to work this angle, and if there's any type of a genre, wrestling would be great, you're going to blow this up to have the plaque. If that plaque, tell me, and behind the scenes, Lee, that plaque is going to give you the ability to get AJ Styles on the show. It's going to, CM Punk is going to be like, okay, he gets he has 100,000 subs. I'm doing that show as opposed to some show. I've had people call me to come on private investigating shows and they have 175 subs. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. It's going to be 9 people or my people are coming over there. If Lee Cole having 100,000 subscribers and that plaque got him the biggest names in the wrestling business to do shoot interviews, Jesse Ventura and all that, he couldn't even get curtain jerkers. He couldn't get anybody on his program with wrestling that wrestled. He went to wrestling thing in Las Vegas, stayed one day off the strip, and never did anything. We did more on the WrestleMania show. We're not a wrestling channel. So I think what happened, and the big thing is, if you have a wrestling channel that's making $7,000 to $10,000 a month, $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and you're living in subsidized government housing for 55 and up, why would you shut the channel down? Because of a subpoena? Lee Cole told me in the beginning, and I'll end it with this, that he had some documentary for HBO. I have found out behind the scenes that it's total fabrication.
Thank you. He called me and said, we want to put you on HBO and with the people right now. We want you to be a pro Vince McMahon guy.
No, first of all,
there was no HBO show.
I'm on, as well as you guys, one of the biggest and one of the most important documentary series that's ever existed in wrestling called Dark Side of the Ring. You guys been in way more episodes than I have. I'm proud to have been in 3. But what I can tell you is Lee Cole does not have anything that he would have a one-off. If they were doing a story on the Ring Boy scandal, which really there's not a lot of people that even want to touch that, because the Ring Boy scandal is not really a wrestling show. It's a molestation piece, right?
Yes.
It's a true crime piece. It's not like, for example, Jimmy Snuka and his girlfriend dying in the hotel. It's Dark Side of the Ring likes those kind of stories because you don't have to be a wrestling fan to like that.
Yes.
When we did the Grizzly Smith thing and Jake the Snake's sister and Houston, and I was part of his missing sister, that was only 12 minutes of the whole documentary. The rest was about being molested. They want something where somebody who doesn't know who Jake the Snake Roberts is watching that like, oh my God, look what these people had to endure. Lee doesn't have any of that. And he is the estranged brother of a dead guy. I would think the family, the immediate family, the children, that would be that. And Linda McMahon has already gone over this with a fine-tooth comb. And let me be perfectly honest with you. A trial or a court case like this, if they don't settle out of court, could take a decade. I don't think Vince McMahon's going to be around 12 years from now to pay out Lee Cole. By the way, Lee Cole's got to hope he can collect the money. There's nothing coming, and that plaque did nothing except get him into a position right now where he is doing the exact same thing to the Angel Gotti channel that he did to Proctor and his.
Well, I want to stop you now because I want to talk about Gotti. And here's the other thing. If he was making $400 a month, $400 a month just to go on a computer and talk bullshit, it's not a bad little deal. Okay, it's just not. You cost that for a fucking plaque. I want to, if there's any James Terry haters out there, I want to share a story that I have never shared. James Terry knows his shit, okay? I could remember when Hulk Hogan was in the hospital, James Terry gave me the complete rundown of what was really going on with Hulk Hogan, what was going to happen, and everything else. And I didn't do anything with that information, not because I didn't believe James, because I just felt like I can't go out there and say this without calling James out and saying he's the one that told me, right? Because he was the one that told me, and I didn't think it would be fair. But there's a perfect example. When James talks, he has a lot of shtick behind him, but the reality is he's really speaking the truth. So I thought it was important that I tell people that, there's always truth behind. So I'm going to ask you this before.
Well, let me tell you, I was able to get that information on Hulk Hogan as to what was going on, even around Bubba the Love Sponge and all that, who I grew up in the community that he does his show in, because I called Hulk Hogan's, the guy that baptized him's church. I spoke with secretaries and people that worked in the church that were getting ready for his funeral. See, they were already talking about that, and I contacted the church in Indian Rocks Christian at Hulk, and I had tons of people at the church that were willing to talk to me. I went to people that didn't have anything to do with wrestling, and I came to you, and I even called Nick Hogan and got Nick Hogan on the phone and knew that Kurt Angle was replacing his father. Hulk wasn't coming back. And I grew up in the Clearwater Beach community. But I'm sorry, go ahead, I'll digress. But
you understand. But I got it. Before we get into Gotti, I got to ask you, I don't know this dude, Renee. I don't know him. But I do know.
I had a huge fight with Renee.
So explain to me his role. Look, Renee's nickname for this show is called The Puppet. Whatever Lee would say, he would sit there and have the strings pulled and do whatever else. And literally probably was one of the worst podcasters I ever heard in my – Lee sucks, but this guy was even worse. But my point was, what is his deal? Was he paying Lee for his subs? Did he know what was going on?
I don't have proof of this. I assumed that Renee was the money mark. Renee – I did a background check on Renee when they wanted me to come over there and do a live division of their show and bring the prank calls and all that. But Lee says, but Jim, Renee's in charge. And I'm like, well, who the fuck is Renee? And I'm like, well, he's ex-military. He's ex-this. There is no secret. This is very public. Renee had been busted in some drug busts as a dealer. He would bring his kids on the show, and he had a son with autism that he was pumping full of steroids. And I was very uncomfortable with that. I've been a professional athlete the majority of my life. I've never taken a steroid. But to pump steroids into a young kid who has autism, I thought was odd. And I wanted
Are you kidding me? He's giving his autistic son steroids.
He was on the programs, both of his kids. He's got a kid that just won Mr. Teen San Francisco or something. So they're all into that bodybuilding stuff. And I thought it was weird. And I joked with them a little bit because I wanted the show to be more than just wrestling. I wanted it to have, like your guys, it's more of an edge, but with a better group of people to interview. This guy, Bruce, that you have, there's nobody like that on Lee's channel. I believe that Renee was this. I think he was the last of a group of people, and I believe Renee was pumping money into the channel and was buying what Lee Cole was selling. And in addition, he got to be the co-host on Wrestling with the Devil. He bought Lee's shit. And I think he was putting the $200 to $300 a month into the channel, and Lee was putting the money he said he was making from the channel to get the money to buy subscriptions. Our subscription for our channel is $29 a month. Lee lasted 2 months, and I said, well, where did Lee go? As long as Lee has a subscription, I will support him. Angel told me on the phone, Lee doesn't have $29 a month. And I go, he's got a channel with 100,000 subscribers. I believe that Renee was the money mark. I did a background check on Renee.
Well, can I just ask this? Is that why Renee disappeared? Did Renee catch on? Like, why did he disappear?
That's a great question. One of the times he disappeared, Lee wanted me to run the independent live division of his channel. I got on a conference call while I was traveling during the arena football season with Renee and Lee. And I said, Renee, with all due respect, I'm on Roku, I'm on Amazon Fire TV. I have a producer. I've got and just so that the people know, and I'm going to bring this up here so they understand, I have a dossier. This is what Lee wanted. I'm going to bring this up. Monkeys in the back. You could bring this up. Here is part of Jim Terry TV. This is just our prank call channel. It's like Hulu or Netflix. If you want to bring this up, you can see the massive amounts, and some of them have been played here, of prank calls to professional wrestlers. If you want to bring this up in the back, it's there.
Where do I can't? Yeah, I see it. I'm sorry.
Down
Okay,
below.
gotcha.
Monkeys in the
Thank
back.
you.
Thank you very
Yep,
much.
You got it.
You can see here now, I prank called the $1 Million Man at his house. I mean, we've got calls here. Here is me getting some wrestling jobber, Q-Ball Carmichael. I don't even know who he is, but he wanted to kill me by the end of the call. Here's me going on a show right here. And I called into a wrestling show that was a benefit and said I was Marty Jannetty and raised close to $1,200 before they realized I was not Marty Jannetty. So there is a bunch of prank calls on here to famous pro wrestlers. Lee wanted these on his live show. And we got Booker T, we got Lacey Von Erich. So the reason that Lee wanted me was to come over there. And I said, well, I'm bringing the prank calls. I'm bringing the producer. I'm bringing the energy. I have the chops. And I'm on Dark Side of the Ring, the hottest show on. And I got guys like Monte and the Pharaoh and other shows that I can go on and promote. What is this guy, other than pumping his kid full of steroids, going to bring to the show? He doesn't even know who Kevin Von Erich is. And the guy popped. He exploded. Fuck you. And I says, that's it. Lee, you want me to do it? I want $250 a week. Pay me $250 a week. I will do a live division and put everything I'm in it. And the guy exploded. He disappeared off of Lee's channel for about a month and a half. That's why he disappeared.
Interesting story. So we've pretty much established what's going on with Lee Cole. If, there's still sheep out there that want to believe his nonsense. I mean, I could tell you, I personally emailed him after Janelle Grant was brought in to be a fraud. I said, Lee, finally, all the truth and the lies you've been telling, you're just going to hope they disappear. Because for months, he was predicting Vince McMahon being arrested. It never happened. For months, he was expecting this. He was personally speaking to Janelle Grant. They were doing a documentary together. But let me ask you this. You spoke about Angel Gotti, who has a somewhat popular channel on YouTube. You're on there, used to be on there on a regular.
Yes.
Angel Gotti has fallen into the web of Lee Cole.
Yeah. And so Angel Gotti did not have a plus channel. I went over there. I saw what she was dealing with some of the haters. I went up and I took over a dead community. The mob genre was dead. Wrestling genre will never be dead. It just becomes a tighter squeeze. I went over there and I became the biggest thing in the mob community. I was the John Gotti of YouTube, and I was on the show with a Gotti. It was a match made in heaven. Within 2 months, I knew Lee Cole needed to be removed. Lee Cole was a cancer I needed to dissect from that show, and I did. I got rid of that tumor, that pea-sized lump in my testicle. And by moving him off the channel, we got a plus channel. First thing Lee said, I could have done that. No, you couldn't. She was up to at one time close to 1,300 subscribers at $4.99. I've heard she's under 200 now. I'm not on the show for a couple of months now. And I took the show into a different direction. Forget mob talk. How many stories we got here about John Gotti's car?
And by the way, when you were on that, it was pretty hilarious. I got to tell you. I've even told you. I've written you privately and said what you're doing is talented.
Yes.
Very talented.
I have a question on her channel because I'm on her Social Blade right now.
Yes.
Just brought it up. So
let me blow you up there, Bruce. 1 second, buddy. Just let me get you up front so people can see what you're showing. Go ahead.
All right. This is her social blade right now. How do you have negative 25,000 views in a month? Can somebody
I'll tell you how. When her and I blew up, I told her take all my content. Any show that I appeared on there, any show that I showed my OTT platform, anywhere where I brought my talent, take it out. Sort of like WWE took out in all the pay-per-views and everything, Chris Benoit. I said, take my ass out of everything on your show, and you can see that it drops.
So she had to take all his stuff down, Bruce. That makes sense.
Right. So, but check this out. If we scroll down a little farther, somehow her subscription rate is gradually going up and up and up in astronomical numbers.
She is doing the YouTube thing where you can advertise through YouTube, and they have a bunch of kids in Uganda that watch it at 2 a.m. Here's what
but that's buying views. That's buying views.
It's legally buying views because YouTube's getting the money as opposed to going outside. Here's what I think happened. I think what happened with Lee Cole is he was doing some of that marketing, but he was buying and pumping in the illegal shit as well. He was taking his vitamins. He was saying his prayers, but he was also pumping into his channel the illegal box you can buy and views over in Taiwan, where you get 1,500 for 25 bucks. I think he's doing the same thing with Angel Gotti. I do not believe Angel Gotti is doing it. I think he is. Angel Gotti had a channel at one time in the last 13 months that had 499 subscribers through my hard work and other people that came to the channel. She had shows where there was 400 to 500 people on there. Last night, we went on Johnny Yarbrough TV. She was down to 101 live viewers and had to put the channel on private, the show on private in the middle of the show to hide the decline. You may be able to buy views for people, but you can't pull them away. I believe that she doesn't even know what Lee Cole's doing. And Lee Cole said he wants to get off YouTube. He's been on Angel Gotti's show almost continuously and on his backup channel and on Eric Foss's channel continuously for the last month. He's on now more than ever.
So Jim, I notice you and I keep running into each other in different communities, chatting with people, and I've noticed our comments keep getting deleted. Have you noticed
right,
that?
Bruce. Bruce, a lot of people. Listen, Bruce, I am obviously somebody who entertains you. You are following me around to get your name out there. You're using me to get places. And by the way, I just want to wish, and this is from the bottom of my heart. I know that Pharaoh has developed sickle cell anemia, and I hope he's able to beat that, because I don't think he should be coughing on anybody's eggs at the Waffle House. But yes, Bruce, we are a lot of the same places, and I'm telling you what, you could see the same bullshit. They don't want you and I talking about this, and this is why it was great to have the opportunity here tonight.
And you're doing a fantastic job. So you like Angel Gotti. Aren't you worried for Angel Gotti? It seems like she really loves that channel. She's in danger right now. And I will tell you this. I actually feel bad for James Proctor, because I'm thinking this guy, like, he was just so clueless. He just got roped into this whole thing.
So I don't know James Proctor. I was on a panel with him one time, and he looked like a Far Side character. I thought he had special needs, and I'm not being it. I mean, listen, anybody who wears a 1984 Atlanta Braves hat that's in their 50s like this and isn't Justin Bieber, I've got to wonder what's going on. I think he is a guy that was paying Lee Cole, and I think Lee Cole still had control of the channel. And when Lee Cole's got taken down I don't believe that Lee Proctor knows the whole story. I think he's getting the majority of it from Lee. I don't think everything was transferred over. Monte, it would be like if you gave me your channel right now and said, I don't want to do this anymore. I hit the lotto. I'll give it to you. Give me $2,000 a month and I'll turn it all over to you. Well, then I would have to have your AdSense. I would have to get into your bank account.
Thank you. You would have to have everything. Yes.
We tried to do this with one of our
co-hosts. But Jim, let me ask you a question though. How come people don't understand this? How could a James Proctor be so fucking stupid that a guy like Lee Cole could pull the wool over his eyes and say,
I mean, James Proctor isn't exactly a Harvard grad. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, you can probably con that guy with chapstick. Here's what I'm saying. I don't know James Proctor. And here's the great part of the show. If Lee Cole wanted to come up here right now, would you drop the link and let him defend himself?
Fuck yeah. But he doesn't have the balls. He doesn't have the balls.
There are channels where I have had body cam footage of people doing goofy shit. I have had police reports. I have had relatives interviewed. And their people still say, you're full of shit. I don't believe you. Some people just want to believe the people that they follow, even if they know. Now, it ultimately hurts you. I don't think Lee is a malicious guy. He's what we call in the hood a chain snatcher. He's the kind of guy in high school that would have grabbed the rope chain off somebody's neck and ran through the alley. Like, I'm not chasing that douchebag.
Yeah, but let me ask you something. For someone like you, someone like Bruce, someone like myself, we've put a lot of effort into the channel to entertain people, right? We know we're not going to make a ton of money, but you know what? We get to interview some of these famous wrestlers, and we get people that get to enjoy it who like and live and write wrestling. And then a guy like Lee Cole comes in, and he's bragging on a constant basis. They're patting themselves on the back with fake views. At some point, it gets annoying, and then we got to start getting mad at people and attacking them. I mean, his big thing is the reason why we only have 20 or 30 viewers live is because we hate everybody and we're always hating on people and they don't like it. The fact of the matter is, dude, it's like we have in a month between all our social media, not including audio and downloads, okay, it's over 3 million views. And The point is, that's not a lot in this whole thing. It's really not. But the thing is, when someone comes on and cheats like that, man, it just pisses you off.
Well, ultimately, there's only two things that matter. It's the money and the hours you put into it. It's like Lou Albano said. It's the money and the miles. And I can tell you, I wouldn't do this, what we do on the OTT streaming platform. And luckily, I have Mr. X over on JimTerryTV.com. We've also opened up a channel on Night Owl Network, which is on Amazon Fire Television. So we are not even on YouTube. I go on shows like this, which I'm very grateful for, which builds our channel, but we're a niche market. So when we have over 1,000 members on both channels, Night Owl Network is $14.99 a month, and Jim Terry TV is $29.99 a month. We are 100% doing this for the finances. If it wasn't making the kind of money it was, I wouldn't do it. I think it was easy for Lee Cole to take it down. Now, there's another side to this coin. There is also a New Orleans Soul. There's a channel out there, a guy named New Orleans Soul, who's been on Angel and on Proctor and Lee Cole's ass. And he has stated that Lee Cole's channel made just enough money to get him in trouble with Social Security, food stamps, and remember I told you Lee Cole is in a 55 and up Section 8 housing. It's Section 8 for old people. We've had handicapped people on our show before, and if they make, we had a lady named Black Michelle come on our show. She has cerebral palsy. We made her about $500 to $600 in a month like that. She came on our show. She was eating pizza. She was part of the program, slobbering all over herself. It was a great time. We got calls from her family that said, do you realize if she makes more than $200, she's going to lose her hospitalization? That she's now making money. They're going to kick her out of her government housing. There is also the other story on the other side of the coin.
So you think it is possible Lee took his channel down because he was going to lose his housing? There is a possibility.
Yes. I think that's almost as plausible as that it got taken down. But it could be a matter of both. He might have known the heat was coming around the corner and took it down and fucked over Proctor, because I believe that Proctor's money was coming through Lee Cole. I don't believe on the 21st Proctor got a check. I think the money went into Lee Cole's AdSense and he shot it over there. And let me tell you something, I would not want Lee Cole being my banker.
Yeah, that's for sure. And let's not forget this. Let's not forget this. And people, it's public record. Lee Cole was arrested for kidnapping. He was arrested when he was younger for tons of drug deals, but he was arrested for kidnapping. That was plead down. It was plead down. He says he was found innocent. No, he plea bargained down. It's in public record. All you got to do is look it up. But go ahead, James.
And I told Lee, I begged Lee for the last 10 days on a dozen different phone calls to the point where we were screaming at each other. Lee, come on my show. Come on Monte and the Pharaoh. Well, it's now Monte and Terry and Bruce. But what I want you to do is come over here. And I want you to just come on the show and stick it right up Monte's ass. Come over here and say, okay, Monte, I'm going to turn my channel on for 10 minutes. Boom, turns the channel on. Hey, you guys are full of shit.
There you go. It's that simple.
He won't do that, which means it's gone. It's definitely gone.
Yeah. And again,
how much egg would we have on our face right now, Bruce, if Lee Cole came up here and said, hey, motherfuckers, my channel is back up right now. I'm going to have it on until 10:30 Eastern, dickheads. We'd look like assholes. He can't do that.
No, we can't.
No, and that's the thing. He's like, well, I did it on my terms, and I could do. No, those videos are gone. They're gone. There's no way he's getting it back.
But again, those videos were worthless anyway. But you know what? Going back, I mean, seriously, what was on there? He interviewed RVD, probably a terrible job they did with him. He had Bubba the Love Sponge when Bubba was as hot as he could be at some point off of Hulk Hogan's back, and he still blew that interview. You know, but Renee sounded like it. No, he had that girl with him who bailed out on him.
How much should it cost him to get Bubba, you think?
Back to Jim's point about not having Lee handle your bank account. Lee spent maybe $10,000 for a $19 silver plaque to hang on you.
I looked at getting one of those and hanging it up on our Rumble channel just to be a dick. You can get those. Now, Lee did say there's a guy named Eric Foss out there who has a good channel. Eric Foss, Standing on Business with Eric Foss. He had Lee on this week. And he said, well, Lee, let's see the plaque. Because I guess the ones that you can buy, the tchotchkes on eBay, or on Pinterest or wherever they sell them are a little bit of a different size. And he says, will you put it up there? And Lee goes, no, this is a legitimate one. Look at how small it is. And I believe Lee did get that. But I bet.
Oh, no, Lee got it because he had a letter.
Yeah.
He tricked him. But, I mean, again, he spent not $10,000, but he probably spent about $7,000 to get a $20 plaque. It's like, are you kidding me?
Lee Cole's health is, I don't believe Lee Cole's health is very good. I had conversations with Angel Gotti behind the scenes about Lee Cole, and she made it sound like months and months ago, this guy was, he needed a surgery. If the surgery worked out, he would be cancer-free, and he never was cancer-free. I don't know what he's got going on. He had the same surgery Hulk Hogan had on his neck many years ago. There was also another side where my heart goes out a little bit, but I asked Lee, so what are you going to do? Lee Cole has a baby in his family. I think it's one of his siblings' kids that needs a heart transplant. The kid's less than a year old.
Oh, that's
and
terrible.
I told Lee, and Lee goes, I got to shut this down for this. I said, Lee, you're not a doctor. You don't have any money. What are you going to do? You know what I mean? What are you going to do? I mean, Lee, you ought to blow your head off and give that baby your baboon heart.
Well, let me ask you this, though. So your claims that he had a gerbil up his ass is not true. That was only joking.
Listen, I don't know about that. I know
because you did claim that. You said that they found a gerbil up his ass.
I know that he has gerbils. I just don't know where they go at night. Now, Bruce, I will tell you this, and I see Bruce looking at me, and Bruce has already been messaging me behind the scenes. Please help me with my channel. What do I need to do? Can I have your number privately? He's also, by the way, just so people know, I'm looking at the back chat. I can't tell you how many times Bruce has told Monte how much better the show is tonight with the -1. But I can tell you this. And by the way, he should not wear black tank tops anymore. I'm just saying. Here's the deal. I don't think Lee Cole is a malicious, hardcore puke that some exist on these YouTube channels. I think he's an opportunist, but I don't know how his health is. It could be his health. It could be that he is on government assistance or of some kind, because he said, no, I get Social Security. I said, Lee, what career did you have? Did you get money from? Where the fuck did you work? Let me see those W-2s.
That's a great. He put nothing into the system, man. Come on.
Well, where did he work? Toys R Us? I mean, what did he do? And you know what would be great, Bruce? Lee Cole could get us all right now. If he came on his show and said, you know what? Yeah, fuck him. I burned him. Here's how I got the plaque without having anybody. I would be like, Lee, that is the ultimate swerve. In this community, that would work. But I do want to disagree with both Bruce and Monte here. You guys are telling me you don't miss the show that he had, the groundbreaking, earth-shattering Iggy program where he interviewed the Venezuelan woman at Hogan's Beach Shop about the price of hats?
Oh, that was incredible, that episode. That was incredible. Or how about
I watched it nude.
But this is another example of how this guy doesn't think. So Lee Cole's got 100,000 subscribers, right, on YouTube. He goes to WrestleMania weekend. Yeah. Now, just by the pure math of it, at least 20 people would recognize you if you were a wrestling channel that had 100,000 subscribers. Yeah. He shows the one guy. He makes a video of him that recognized him. I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, you look so fucking stupid right now because you could only find one guy that recognized you.
One guy.
It's like, dude, I don't even know. Listen, we're almost out of time. Are you able to reach Tom Cole?
Yes. Guys, let me explain this. I have what is called a spirit box here. Now, Bruce, I know there are many young women in the 80s that you probably dumped on the side of the highway that might come through this. So what I want to do is I want to let everybody know that give me a second here. Let me set this up. Let me set this up, and I will attempt to reach Lee Cole's dead brother live on the show here. We would need to ask
only on the Howard Stern of Pro Wrestling.
Give me a minute. Let me set it up, guys. Give me a second here. Talk to live. Bruce, show him some more stats. Bruce, is there any way you could do the rest of the show without a shirt on?
Bruce, are you able to bring on? Are you able to bring up Proctor's?
I can definitely do that.
Let's do that real quick while we try to get Tom Cole on air.
All right. So we start to look at Proctor's stats, and he had the same type of trajectory up towards. He hit this peak in subscribers of 104, 105,000. He got the plaque, and guess what happened? His subs never kept going back up.
Oh my God. Do you believe that James Proctor knew what was going on?
Well, no, I honestly don't, especially listening to him. I think Lee really is bullshitting the guy. I mean, I hate to say it, but let's face it, Lee's a New Yorker. He's a little bit sly on stuff, but no, I don't trust Lee. I don't believe anything Lee has to say, to be honest.
Do you think Lee Cole will be stupid enough to buy more subscribers to get his Wrestling with the Devil 2.0 channel up there?
All he said was his goal was to beat you. That was it. The whole goal of this past video. He wants to show you how to get to 100. He can do it again. Well, hey, he can buy another 100,000 views or 100,000 subs. Go for it, man. We'll get there. It may take us another 10 years at this rate, but we'll get there.
At our rate, we won't see 100,000 views, period. But I have 100,000 subscribers. But
I'll be in my early 80s, and you'll be almost 90. But
I'll be dead. That's for sure. I will tell you this too. I know why Jimmy does it. Jimmy always says it. He won't swim in this toilet bowl, right? He cannot take it at all. All right, Terry's back. Let's see if he's reached. We're almost out of time. He's calling.
Hold on, guys. Lee Cole is calling right now.
All right, let's have it.
Hold on. Let me, because hello. Yeah. No, we're going to do it right here on the show. We're going to do it right here on the show, Lee.
Ambulance?
No, I don't.
All right.
Yeah. No. He's threatening you. He says he will sue you, and Lee will bring Monte into a lawsuit if we try to contact his brother. Lee, I don't think that's the way you want to handle this. Why don't you come up on the show and Oh, he's pissed.
Wait a minute. I can't help it if you reach the dead. You can reach the dead. It happens.
Okay, Lee. Okay. He says he's busy right now watching a Mel Gibson marathon. All right, Lee, I got to go. Guys, I am sorry about that. Let's just get to the big dechuts here, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for having me on the show. By the way, my 6th appearance on the Monte and the Pharaoh program.
Always welcome, sir. Always welcome.
Thank you, Jim, and thank you to that community out there. They've been great in this chat room.
JimTerryTV.com. Now, I will do this here. So this is a spirit box. And what I will do is I will turn it on, and basically it's white noise. And it will go through, and I will ask it questions, and eventually, and let me set it up here, eventually it will say something, and it will come through clear. Now, it's possible that
it doesn't even have to be Tom Cole. It could be anybody could show up, right?
Anybody could go through, or it could be somebody who knows Tom Cole, or, I mean, who knows? Maybe we get fucking King Kong Bundy.
Exactly. We don't know. Whoever shows up. It's not under our control.
Correct. So let me go ahead and bring this up here. And what they will do is they will say something. It might be a word like, it could be like death or killer, or you never know. So this is a real spirit box. Let me turn it on. I'm new at this. Hold on. Now you can see. Now, can you hear that, the white noise?
Yes, we can hear it.
Okay. I please let me see Bruce, because Bruce looks like the kind of guy that would attract demons and ghouls.
Yeah.
So it's coming through, and it's Tom Cole, correct? Is that his full name?
It's Tom Cole, yeah. But, again, like I said, I can't help it if he shows up. I'm not telling him to come.
I would prefer to make myself bigger and you guys a little bit smaller, please. I didn't want to share it, in the thirds and the thirds.
All right, hold on. Let me fix that. Okay, how's that?
There we go.
All right, guys, I need complete silence. In fact, I'm going to try to reach. Now, I'm not one of these ghost hunters, but I am going to try to reach Lee Cole's brother. Tom, if you can hear me, my name is James Terry, Dark Side of the Ring, JimTerryTV.com, but you know that already. Please come through.
Do you think Tom watches Dark Side of the Ring?
Bruce, will you mute Monte, please? I'm trying to do it. Tom, please come through. I am friends with your brother, the newest band YouTube creator, Lee Cole. And I want you to give me a sign that you're out there. Please give me a sign that you're out there. Say something. Say something to the crowd so that we know it's you and that we know that you're Lee Cole's brother.
Homosexual. Homosexual.
Oh.
Homosexual.
Okay, guys, we're making contact. That's him. That's it. That's definitely somebody that has crossed on the other side with Tom Cole. Now, listen, I know that you're out there, and I know...
We're visiting Pharaoh's here after last night's Super ECW tribute show.
Deluxe.
Pharaoh's looking good though. As he gets older, he can handle his liquor a little better, right? But we'll be floating around. Hopefully, get to see a few people. We'll be posting these videos, so we'll talk to you soon.
I don't care if they talk shit. I don't talk to hypocrites. If you hate me, that's just fine. Go on down and get in line. They try to tell me what I need, and it sure ain't nothing good for me. Don't care what they say, it's all just talk. Gonna head my way.